Hello, welcome to another video. Today we're going to be talking about the life of Jerry Springer. Gerald Norman Springer, born February 13th, 1944, was an American broadcaster, actor, producer, and politician. He was born in London during World War II to refugees escaping the Holocaust, and then Springer was raised in Queens, New York City. His parents, Margot and Richard Springer, were German Jewish refugees who escaped from Prussia. His maternal grandmother, Mary Coleman, and his paternal grandmother, Selma Springer, both died in concentration camps. In 1949, when Jerry was 4, his family immigrated to Queens, New York. Springer worked as a political campaign advisor to Democrat Robert F. Kennedy in 1968. Following Kennedy's assassination, he began practicing law at the Cincinnati law firm of Frost & Jacobs. In 1970, Springer ran for the United States House of Representatives. He lost to Republican Donald D. Clancy, but took 45% of the vote in a traditionally Republican district. He had previously led the effort to lower the voting age, including testifying before the Senate Judiciary Committee in support of approval of the 26th Amendment. 3 days after announcing his candidacy, Jerry, who was also an Army reservist at the time, was called to active duty and stationed at Fort Knox. He resumed his campaign after he was discharged. Springer was elected to the Cincinnati City Council in 1971. On April 29, 1974, Springer resigned from the council. He ran for office in 1975, winning by a landslide. He was re-elected in 1977 and 1979. In 1977, Springer was chosen by the Cincinnati City Council to serve for 1 year as mayor. In 1981, Springer had stepped down from a seat in the City Council to focus on becoming governor of Ohio, seeking the Democratic nomination in the 1982 Ohio election. He failed to win the Democratic Party's nomination, finishing in third and putting a hold on his political career. Springer considered running for the United States Senate in 2000 and 2004, but he backed down due to the negative associations with the Jerry Springer talk show. Even after his departure from politics, he was the largest contributor to the Hamilton County Democratic Party from 1993 to 2018. Springer was hired as a political reporter and commentator on Cincinnati's NBC affiliate WLWT, which was, at the time, the lowest-rated news program. Now, having been named primary news anchor and managing editor, he needed to have a broadcast catchphrase like other great newsmen. With the help of some others at WLWT, he created his signature line, "Take care of yourself and each other," and within 2 years he was Cincinnati's #1 news anchor. For 5 years, he was the most popular news anchor in the city, garnering 10 local Emmy Awards for his nightly commentaries. Springer remained a commentator at WLWT until January 1993. The first episode of The Jerry Springer Show debuted on September 30th, 1991. It started as a politically oriented talk show, a longer version of Jerry's news commentaries. In early 1994, Springer and his producer revamped the show's format to garner higher ratings. The show had become more successful as it became targeted towards tabloid sensationalism. Guests were just everyday people confronted on television by a spouse or family member's adultery, homosexuality, transsexuality, prostitution, or other private situations. These confrontations were often promoted by scripted, shouting, or violence on stage. By 1998, The Jerry Springer Show was beating The Oprah Winfrey Show in many cities and was reaching 8 million viewers. On July 24th, 2000, officers found Nancy Campbell Pantes murdered just hours after her episode of The Jerry Springer Show aired. Nancy Campbell Pantes, the ex-wife to Ralph Pantes, was found beaten to death just hours after a national audience saw her, Ralph, and his new wife Eleanor in a heated exchange on a Springer episode entitled Secret Mistress Confronted. Nancy and her ex-husband had a very troubled and toxic relationship, but despite that, up until her appearance on The Jerry Springer Show, Nancy is said to have wanted to reconcile with Ralph and to remarry him. On the show, she said that she thought she had been asked to come so that she and Ralph could reconcile their marriage. But after telling her about the news of his marriage to Eleanor, Ralph accused Nancy of stalking him and thought that a TV confrontation would convince her to leave him alone. Nancy Campbell's estate sued The Jerry Springer Show, claiming it was the trigger to the murder. Ultimately, the estate of Nancy Campbell dropped all monetary claims against The Jerry Springer Show. Ralph Pantes, at age 42, was convicted of the first-degree murder of his ex-wife and was sentenced to life in prison in 2002. Jerry Springer was married to Mickey Velton. They had a daughter, Katie, born 1976. She was born without nasal passages, which she needed immediate surgery after birth, and is blind as well as deaf in one ear. In a 2006 interview, she stated that her parents were always supportive despite her health complications and that they did not raise her differently. In 2006, Springer donated $230,000 to Park School in Chicago, where his daughter was working as an assistant teacher, to help construct a high-tech facility known as Katie's Corner for students with disabilities. Jerry Springer died at his home in Evanston, Illinois on April 27, 2023, at the age of 79. A family spokesperson said that he was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer a few months prior to his death. Steve Wilkos, host of The Steve Wilkos Show and former bodyguard on The Jerry Springer Show, paid tribute to his colleague with a statement saying, "Other than my father, Jerry was the most influential man in my life. Everything I have today, I owe to Jerry. He was the smartest, most generous, kindest person I've ever known. My wife and I are devastated. We will miss him terribly." During his career, Springer and his program quickly became a cultural hit. After his death, The Guardian said that Springer changed U.S. television for better and worse. Springer was credited for creating a new television format which encouraged conflict among its guests. In an obituary for Springer, the Irish Times said that Springer had changed television medium through the Jerry Springer formula. Jerry Springer left a lot of things behind, but he will always be remembered through his show. Thank you for watching.